What is going on, fellow assemblers? Today, let us take a look at the Mark 47 Iron Man suit by Hot Toys from Spider-Man Homecoming. This figure looks excellent, so I cannot wait to get into it, so let's go. So let's go right ahead and dive right on into unboxing this figure, as that is what we all came here to see. So there is the art box. I love the boxes that Hot Toys does for these figures. Most of them are just great artwork, and I love them. So this one is a tad different from other Iron Man figure boxes. Normally it's a two-piece box which breaks off right here, and you open it up and there's a whole styrofoam container, but this one actually has a styrofoam right at the side. A little easier, I suppose, a little less work to make the box, but not too bad. So, as always, styrofoam box with the Mark number on it, in this case, Mark 47. So, like I said, standard, typical figure box for Iron Man figures. A little tight on that, but try not to break it when you open yours. We'll go right ahead and dive right on into pulling this guy out so we can get this stuff out of the way that we don't need. Alright, and there is everything for this figure. Now, there are a ton of accessories for this figure. As usual, you've got the multiple sets of hands, the ones that come on him, plus you've got 3 other pairs of hands with this figure, so that's quite a bit. You've got the usual head that comes on the figure, which lights up, and then you've also got the head sculpt here of the character. And this one actually does come with a third head option, which I will talk about in a little bit. We've got the usual stand here, which is just Spider-Man Homecoming up top. It tells you Iron Man, Tony Stark right down there. Doesn't tell you the Mark, which not too bad because there's only one in that movie. So not a terrible thing, but it would be nice if that did say Mark 47 on it. You've got the usual stand here, which is adjustable in height. This is not a flight stand, which is one of those flexible ones, because this figure does weigh a good amount that that stand would not hold it, but it does have a little bit of adjustment to it, so it might hold him up, might not. Not quite sure on that. This one does come, however, with a second stand for an accessory that I will show you in a little bit. So you just end up taking this piece out here, popping that right on there, and this has a little slit right there that you can just pop that right back on in there, and this gives you a little stand for the accessory, which, like I said, I'll show you in a little bit. So we'll just pop that right on there, put that right there. Whoops, careful with that there. Now, it does come with a ton of batteries, and you do use every single one of these in this figure. There are, I believe, 8 spots in this figure. You've got the thighs, you've got the biceps, head, back, and then I believe in this one you've got the 2 shoulders. So there are a ton. Now they give you a little screwdriver to unscrew all the little battery access ports, and they do happen to give you a little pair of tweezers because these batteries are quite small. So that's a nice little touch by Hot Toys. And you've just got the basic instructions here. Hot Toys on the back, tells you what figure it is, tells you where everything is. Super easy. This pretty much just tells you where to put the batteries, movements that you can do, maximum movements, maximum degrees that you can move these parts, and pretty much how to install these parts. Now, one thing I will point out that I'm a little disappointed with, when I took this out of the box, you can see right here, there's these little pieces here. Now these are magnets, which happen to have fallen off of my pieces here. You can see right there. They should be glued on there. Now there's glue residue on there, so they were glued on, but they did fall off. And because I'm out of warranty on this through Sideshow, which is where I buy all of my figures, I cannot get replacements, so I'm going to have to fix it myself, which is not too big of a deal, but that is a little disappointing. I did have that happen with one other figure of mine that I was able to get a replacement part for, which was nice, but that is okay. I can fix it, not a big deal. So now, like I said, we've got a multitude of hands here. You've got the basic fists, which come on the figure here. Then you've got these 2 here, which are his repulsor firing hands. So they've got a slight bend in this wrist piece here on both of them, so he can put them out like that. And they've got about a 90 degree, a little less than 90 degree port that you can plug the little hand peg into when you take off the other hands there. So that's one set. The other set is the awesome individual articulated finger set, which I love that they did this. Now it does have a little repulsor here that will light up when you put it in, because there's a little light bulb in that peg that goes in there, and it just lights up that port there, which is a nice little touch. Both hands articulate the fingers. Really nice touch there. And then we've got these special ones here that have these repulsor firing effects already attached to them. They do not come off. They should light up, as there's a little hole here that you can kind of see some orange in there, which is this effect there. So it should light up when you plug that into the hand port there. So that's really, really cool. Now, another couple accessories that this figure comes with are these guys right here, which are little forearm attachments that have little rockets attached to them. Nothing too special there. Little magnet there, so I would say be careful with that magnet, as well as those are probably glued on the same way, which weren't glued on very well on those parts there, but that's okay. So just definitely watch out for those. They're the nice red color of Iron Man's suit there. Very nice, very nice. And they do tell you on the inside here what is the right and what is the left one. They got an R and an L to indicate that. Very nice. Now these 2 accessories here, shoulder armor pieces that look like they have little ports opened up there, which probably some sort of missile type thing or some kind of weapon that he has. Now this just ends up popping off, and this one just goes in place of it. So I'm sure that's magnetic as well, which I will find out in a little bit. So if it is, definitely be careful with that. Now another accessory this comes with are these little guys right here, which, if you have seen the movie, which I hope by now you have, these are fired from this guy right here, which in the movie, a ferry is falling apart and he has to shoot these guys out right here, which attach to them, and they're little boosters, so they help push the ferry back together. Pretty cool. Loved that scene of the movie. But this is the accessory for which that extra stand is there for. So it comes with this extra little arm here which just clicks right into the bottom. It's got the two little pegs right there, so you can see, and then right there you got two little holes right there. So, and then this piece right here is almost like a puzzle piece, so it should just fit right on in there. Just goes like that. This has some flex to it here, and slight turn, not much, but I wouldn't advise turning it. But then this just slips right over the top here, just like that. So that's it. And this is an action stand, so this does have flexibility to it, so you can do whatever you'd like to it. And then the figure obviously goes on here. Perfect. So there's that guy. Now comes with a couple of effects here, which these, the bottom of his feet, so they go in just like that, so it looks like he's flying, which is pretty cool. Nice little effect there. You can either use these as a repulsor blast, or you could put these on with these and it looks like he's flying, which is pretty cool. So I guess in a way you could use these as two different types of hands, so that's pretty neat. I like that. So, and it comes with one for each foot. Awesome. Now these ones, these here, are for these little guys. They go in like that. There is a little hole in that, but it's supposed to be these things taken off out of this guy here. So they take off out of that and fly. So, and it comes with two of those again for each of those. So that's pretty neat. And then this comes with, like I said, a couple of head sculpts. You've got the basic head sculpt here of the helmet. Now this one does not open up. The only thing that opens up is that to put the batteries in, turn it on. I don't have batteries in, so it doesn't light up right now, but this is the head sculpt that comes on. Now it comes with another head sculpt, which, if once again you have seen the movie, you know that in the movie when the armor is flying around talking to Peter there, it opens up and nobody's inside. It's an automated armor, so that's really cool that it came with something like that. And that's just got a little snap-on piece there, just snaps into the neck, and there's no movement with this, however, unlike this head, which can move quite a bit. And then the neck can also move a bit, but to put that on you have to take off both the head and, let's see if I can get it off, you have to take off the neck piece as well. And then you just pop that on and he opens up like in the movie. Pretty cool. And then this comes with one more headpiece. It comes with the awesome, well done Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark head sculpt. And as usual, Hot Toys has done a wonderful job of capturing the likeness for Robert Downey Jr. here. It looks very much like him. His eyes are kind of facing that way. If you can see that, they're not quite head on, but it does look a lot like him. So that is a plus. But this head sculpt, you have to take off the head and the neck like before, but this one comes with another accessory, which is right here. This is the neck seal, so you got to put this on first, and then you can put this in, and it goes like that. So it looks like the helmet kind of just went down and around the back of his neck, so it looks like he's in the suit instead of just bare neck. So that looks awesome. They did a really good job including that accessory. It looks really, really good. One more accessory it did come with, which I really like, are his glasses here. So we can put those on. There we go. Now it is complete. Now we can take a look at the figure itself, which I am psyched about. Let's put the standard head back on here. Let me get that. Ooh, wow, okay. Put that back on. Now, is that magnetic? That is magnetic. So just be careful not to lose that little magnet right there. That wouldn't be very good, because it doesn't stay on super well. That's definitely a dislike. That's not super magnetic, but as long as you're not playing with it, you should be fine. Alright, let's take a look at this figure now. They've done a very good job once again with capturing the likeness of the suit from the movie. Looks really good. They captured the red and silver paint job this time, slight gold, but they did a very good job. Now, like I said before, under his hands you can take them off, and right in there is a light bulb, which I don't have the batteries in, so I cannot turn on. I don't like to put the batteries in, just because they tend to leak. But in each hand there's one of those light bulbs, so that the hands, like I said, with the little clear repulsor there in the center, lights up. But these hands don't have that, they're just fists, so these are not going to light up. Now, as always, let's do a flexibility test, see how well he can bend. So, straight 90 degrees, got 90 degrees there, and then you got a little bit more there. So that is it for the elbow joint. Now the shoulder, I mean, I'm thinking you can, I'm not going to, but I'm thinking you could go all the way around if you really wanted to. But I'm not going to, because I'm not sure if there's any wires in that shoulder joint, so I don't want to twist them too much. But there is that. The shoulders spring-loaded so that they go back to where they were. Now, one word of caution with that is be super careful with that, because I have broken my War Machine. Oh, what was that? Oh, and it's got a little slide movement there, so it pulls up. But I have broken my War Machine because these little mounts that they use for the shoulders are not very tough at all. I barely moved it up, actually like this, and it broke off. So be very careful. Now, like I said, these have batteries in the shoulders, because I believe the shoulders light up. I think the shoulders light up. I'm not 100% sure why there's batteries in the shoulders other than that, but that's good. So, once again, magnet. So be very careful not to lose that. A magnet right there. So definitely don't play with it too much. Actually, you know what? That is not a magnet. It's just a little pop piece. So it just pops right in and snaps in. So that's better than a magnet. Now his shoulders here kind of do have a little pop out to give you a little bit more flexibility. I mean, his arms can go up. Actually, just about completely 90 degrees there. So that is good. That is good, because you want some flexibility with Iron Man. He's got some cool poses that he does. So we've also got, like I said, these pop off, and yep, look at that, there are magnets under there, so you definitely want to be careful with that, not to lose those. So like I said earlier, you got these ones, which my magnets fell out, so they're not going to stick, but these just go in place like that. Super simple. And if there was magnets, there's a magnet in there, and there would be a magnet in there, but mine is broken, unfortunately. So we'll put those back on for now. Now, I did see that the chest piece comes off to reveal some detail under there. Now, there are no magnets in there, there's just these little pegs here that hold it in, but they put a little detail under the chest piece, which is pretty cool, and that repulsor will light up with the batteries that go in the back, but as the other parts don't have batteries in it, so that is okay. And we will move on to the back of this figure. Now, the back of this figure looks like they did a really good job, and there is batteries right there. So on-off switch batteries, little piece, no magnets, just those 2 pegs, so that's good. No more magnets to fall off. Now this one does have some flaps on his back that open up, just like that. A little bit of detail in those flaps, a little bit of detail under the flaps, so that's really cool, really cool. Now he's got some flexibility in his abdomen back area here, and this piece here moves outward just so that you can get a little bit more flexibility with the bend, because if that didn't move, you'd have like that. So that's a nice little touch that they put on there, and it's hidden pretty well actually. It doesn't look like this actually should bend, but it does when you move the figure, so that's good. And we'll move on to the legs here. Now, one thing about Iron Man figures, to give you even more posability, what they do is they make it so that these pull down, and then you can get even more posability with his legs. And they also put these flaps here. I believe there's another one. Yep, right there. There we go. So you've got 2 that give you a little more posability, but those are pretty well hidden too, because they don't look like they move, but both legs do that just to give you a little more movement. So he's got pretty good movement with them pulled down. With them pushed up, not bad, but not as much, I feel. So this one's up, this one's down. You got a little bit more. Not bad, not bad. I'll put those back on up, and then same thing as the other side. It's got the flaps there, and they have a little movement to them. Just be careful with those, not to break those. Now, thighs also have batteries, which are coming. Ooh, there we go, right there. This thigh also comes off, but I'm going to only take off the one. And as usual, these are labeled left and right, just so when you take them both off, you know which goes where. It's got the usual on-off switch, so you can control just the leg itself. And it's got the battery cover right there with a little screw, as all the others. And that just snaps back on. And they do a great job of hiding all that stuff, because that does not look like it really has a gap there. Not at all. It looks like just all these other panel lines. So do a really good job of that. We'll move on to his calves here and his lower leg, his knee. He's got some pretty good flexibility. It does look like his top of his knee here moves, so that it has little room to wiggle, but it's got some good flexibility to it. And it's a 2-part hinge, so he's got a hinge there, and then he's got one in his thigh there. So it's pretty good, pretty good. Now he's got some moving parts down on his feet here. He's got his back heel piece here that moves. He's got his toe here, can move, and then the toe cover when the toe moves there, as you can see there. So it gives you a little flexibility in the foot area. So that's pretty good. Very impressive. And as usual, they like to put that detail on the bottom of the feet, and the holes there for the little repulsor flames. This one is a reissue, so this is not from the first run of these figures. So mine does say here 2020, if you can see that. As the other one would say, whatever year that one came out, I'm not quite sure about that one. But likes, I like everything about this figure. Dislikes, the only thing really would probably be the shoulder hinges there, as they're not very strong. And like I said, I found that out on one of my other figures where it ended up breaking super easily. Another dislike would be that the magnets instantly fell out. Didn't even get to put them on and they fell out. So, and I'm going to assume that these other ones are glued the same exact way. Why wouldn't they be? So those might have the tendency to fall out, as with all the other pieces that have magnets on it. Luckily, the chest piece and the back piece and the shoulders don't have magnets on those, so those shouldn't fall out. Now the head does, like I showed you, has the magnet there, so that's has some tendency to possibly fall out. The helmet actually does too. The empty one has two magnets, one there, and then there are magnets right in there and right in there. But those ones I've never seen fall out. These ones I've seen fall out, so just need to be super conscious about that and just hope that they don't fall out. So just to let you guys know, because I completely did not even realize this, but while putting him away, I noticed that his abdomen even pops up even more, so he can bend even more flexibility there. So much detail that Hot Toys puts into these figures, it's kind of almost impossible to find it all first go around, but figured I'd let you guys know. So this here is the best picture that I could find from the movie. It does look like it is possibly off of a poster or something, but this is the Iron Man from Spider-Man Homecoming. One thing that really does stand out to me is all the panel lines on the Hot Toy itself. You can see up here on the helmet, they really pop. Chest, they pop a little bit. The forearm especially here, there's definitely quite a bit of them there. I can't really see the forearms on here. You can kind of see here. Doesn't look like there's really much here. The chest doesn't really pop like it does quite on the figure, but all is forgiven with that. It does look very good on the Hot Toy itself. Does look like they captured a bunch of stuff on here. You got all these little light up spots. Obviously the arc reactor looks like it's pretty good shape wise. You got, you know, all the lights here. You got a bunch on the legs here. I'm sure there's a ton on the back on this, which they did capture all those very well. You can see, you know, you got one there, you got them all on the arm here, the hand. That hand might light up, I'm not 100% sure. It looks like it does, but then they captured them very well on the leg here. You got it on the knee, the side of the calf. You got this little guy that's hidden under the chest there, right there, right above the thigh on the waist. So they did very good with all the spots that light up in the movie. They captured them very well on this figure. One thing also is this piece right here. This piece does not look like the same quite. If you move them up a little, yeah, they captured it, but it does look like on here it is part of this piece more so than here, but they most likely did that for flexibility issues, as it wouldn't be able to move like this if they made it that way. So not too bad. The legs look very good. They did get those very good. Right here we got this gold stripe with next to the silver stripe. You got that little detail, which you can see right there. You got the gold here, you got the silver here. So they did very well on that. They got this little detail right here, which is right there. So that's very good. You can see right on top of the foot there, the toe, you got this piece right here. And they did include that as well, which looks very good. They got all these panel lines from the movie Iron Man, and they put all those on there. They do pop a little more because they put some black paint in there to make them stand out a little more on the figure. They captured this detail right here, as you can see on the poster right there. One thing they didn't capture 100% is right here, this piece right here of the knee. You can see they do have it on here, but when you bend the knee, it goes with the top of the shin here, which isn't too bad, but that would have probably been a little difficult to capture on the hot toy itself. So not too bad overall. You can see the gaps here in the ab armor. They captured that quite well. All these little indents as well, they captured. So they did very, very good on this Iron Man figure. You got the chest there, they captured. So they did really, really well. Even on the shoulder here, you can see this indent right here, which they did get right there. That looks awesome. I'm super happy with how they made this Iron Man figure here.